Over the last couple of weeks, we have heard a lot about how Democrats are applying lessons learned from the 2009 stimulus package in crafting the $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan. Overall, most Democrats agree that they did not pump enough money into the economy, which meant a longer and less robust recovery. And that weak recovery, combined with a divisive fight on healthcare reform and climate policy, proved to be a drag on President Obama's approval ratings and his party. By October of 2010, Obama's job approval was just 47%, and voters disapproved of the job the president was doing on the economy by 10 points, 43% to 53%. Just a few weeks later, Democrats lost 63 seats and control of the House of Representatives. That being said, Democrats' memory of that 2010 midterm blowout is not the only thing motivating Democrats to swing for the fences on government spending. For much of the 1990s and early 2000s, Democrats worked hard to shake the tax and spend label with which Republicans had effectively tagged them. And some of the most vocal voices on controlling debt and deficit were Democrats like Senator Ben Nelson of Nebraska and Senator Kent Conrad of North Dakota. Those Democratic voices in more conservative states are now, for the most part, gone. President Donald Trump's blue-collar populism also moved the GOP away from its traditional fiscal constraint. Of course, we also know that Trump effectively turned economic issues into identity issues. In many ways, Hillary Clinton and Democrats had a pretty good story to tell about the economy back in 2016. While it was not yet skyrocketing to new heights, it was growing, and had made significant improvements from the time that Obama took over in 2009. But nevertheless, Trump was able to take that slowly growing economy and really change the focus of the election off of that and onto these identity-reflected topics. The question that he often posed throughout the campaign was not, "Are you worried about losing your job?" but rather, "Are you worried about losing your job to people who are coming here illegally and do not deserve your job?" And Democrats also witnessed that Trump's decision to run the economy on his own paid political dividends. Even as his overall job approval was consistently underwater, voters did give him credit on the economy. In fact, polling taken in the days after the January 6th attack on the US Capitol found Trump's approval rating on the economy holding strong. A Marist NPR PBS poll conducted mid-January showed that Trump's overall job approval had slipped to 38%, with 57% of Americans disapproving of the job he was doing as president. On the issue of handling the economy, however, Trump was well above water at 51% approve to 45% disapprove. And among independent voters, approval of Trump's handling of the economy was a robust 19 points, 57 to 38%. Additionally, a CNN poll released around the same time found similar results. Trump was again underwater on his overall job approval by 28 points, but he got positive ratings on his handling of the economy, +8, including a 22-point advantage among independents, 59 to 37%. All of these factors seem to have led to Biden's decision to pump enough money into the economy to, in effect, intentionally overheat it. Or at a minimum, it would push the limits of how fast the American economy can recover. If it works, this could achieve a boom-like economy very quickly rather than muddle along with millions out of work for years. But the question we should be asking ourselves is this: will a revved-up economy be enough to help Democrats avoid a messy midterm election? Moreover, even if the economy improves, would Biden and Democrats in Congress get the political credit? Contrary to popular opinion, getting credit for a good economy is harder than it looks. Opinions about the economy, like everything else in our politics today, are more polarized than ever. When a Republican president is in the White House, Republican voters are more optimistic about the economy, while Democrats are more pessimistic. And once a Democratic president sits in the Oval Office, those roles reverse. Democrats are more optimistic, while Republicans are much more pessimistic. In other words, it is extremely hard for a president to get credit from Americans of the opposing party for a good economy, even if the data shows it to be true. For example, in June of 2020, when Trump was president, Republicans were 50 points more optimistic about the economy than Democrats. But here in February, those numbers have flipped, with Democrats now 40 points more optimistic than Republicans. So while Biden starts his tenure with a majority of Americans giving him positive ratings, he currently sits at 53% job approval in the 538 average, opinions on his ability to rebuild the economy are mediocre. For example, a recent Navigator poll conducted by Democratic polling firm Global Strategy Group found that Biden and Democrats have a healthy lead over Republicans on whom Americans trust on key issues like combating coronavirus, plus 27, improving healthcare, plus 20, and healing divisions in the country, plus 22. Those leads are smaller but still in positive territory among independent and white voters as well. However, when voters were asked who they would trust more to rebuild the economy, Biden and Democrats have a much smaller 6-point lead over Republicans, 48% to 42%. And among independent voters, that lead is just 4 points, 34% to 30%. Then among white voters, Republicans are more trusted by 10 points, 50% to 40%. Now, going forward, can a big spending stimulus bill be the answer in not only revving up the economy, but also changing the perceptions of the Democratic Party? Can money literally buy Democrats' support from those who are wary of Democrats' economic prowess? Again, back in 2009, as Obama took office, Democrats found themselves in a very similar governing scenario as today. But back then, they were definitely more timid and lacked some of the necessary confidence to go big like their constituents expected them to. As a result, Biden and his team have internalized those lessons, and they are showing with their handling of the COVID relief package that they will not allow Republicans to hide the ball on key items of their agenda. However, that could mean nothing if prominent Democrats are not willing and able to sell a stimulus package, to brag about it and own it instead of assuming that voters are just going to give them credit for an improving COVID response and economic recovery. Over the last few years, a number of Democrats have complained that President Obama failed to sell his economic success story. Joe Biden, on the other hand, is a more natural salesman who is prone to more confidence-boasting optimism than his Democratic predecessors. But of course, all the selling and spinning in the world won't work if in the next 6 months, vaccines are not getting distributed or if millions of people remain unemployed. Ultimately, confidence matters in politics, but at the end of the day, good governing delivers success. That's all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to follow EP Official on all of my social medias linked in the description down below. Also, make sure to comment your thoughts and opinions in the comments section, and please hit the like button if you liked the video as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out more content from my channel here, and as always, tune in next time. EP out.